morning. Monday, December 7th. Not 1941, for those of you old enough to remember the day of infamy. But we do continue to thank all of our servicemen, past, present, and future, for their service to our country. But we're here to talk about something else today. We're here to be, in our Advent season, talking about peace. And I want to share a verse with you today that was a very, very real experience for the disciples of Jesus during his ministry. And this is found in the Gospel of Mark, chapter 4, and verses 37 through 39. So let me read this for you, and then we'll talk about it just a bit, okay? All right. It says, "And a great windstorm arose, and the waves beat into the boat so that it was already filling," obviously with water, right? "But he," Jesus, "was in the stern, asleep on a pillow. And they awoke him and said to him, 'Teacher, do you not care that we are perishing?' Then he arose and rebuked the wind and said to the sea, 'Peace, be still.' And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm." So I'm sure you've probably heard about this story. Even the winds and the seas obey him, Jesus Christ. So there's some obvious lessons here that we can learn. I'm not going to try to, find some, super duper brand new thought from this verse. Let's just think about it. What can we learn from this verse? All right. So number one, the storm was real. The storm was real. Well, yeah, that is obvious. All the guys in the boat were really, really upset about it. Well, why do I say that? The storm was real. We go through all kinds of storms in our life, and they're real. In the final analysis, and we can talk about the fact that, sometimes we're the own cause. We are the cause for our own storms because we make poor decisions in life and we suffer the consequences of those decisions. But you know what? It still doesn't make the storm any less real. It's still real. And sometimes we need people to bail us out, when we make mistakes that create storms in our own lives. Other times it's circumstances beyond our control. We somehow feel more, morally, just when things happen to us that we couldn't control, that don't seem to be, fair in our lives. But in either case, storms can become very, very real. And ultimately, what I want you to know is that we serve a Lord that wants us to come to him regardless of how we got into the storm. When we're in the storm, he wants you to run to him to find the peace that only he can give. The second point is closely associated. The boat was sinking. It was sinking. Water. They were taking on water, and they were going to go down. And the guys in the boat were obviously all very, very afraid and upset about, going down in the Sea of Galilee, which, was a big enough body of water that probably would have secured their deaths. They would have drowned. And I was thinking about this too. Would Jesus have drowned if they went down? Well, yes and no. Yes, he would have drowned because he was in a human body that needs oxygen like anybody else. But of course, we know who he was. And he could have created a miracle in the drowning in and of itself to survive both for himself and the other guys. So in that sense, even if they did go down, if it was the will of Jesus Christ, they would have been saved regardless, because of his ability to work miracles, to overcome even the natural laws of our universe and of the earth, you know, just the natural stuff like gravity and everything else, okay? And in this case, you know, calming the winds and the sea. So, you know, the point again is that we get ourselves in tight spots sometimes in our lives. So then what was Jesus? The third point. He was asleep with his head on a pillow in the back of the boat. How could Jesus be asleep during this? Obviously, it was a big storm. Obviously, it was very loud. Obviously, the waves were coming in. The waves very well might have been splashing up on Jesus himself as he was sleeping, and yet there he was, asleep. So, you know, when we're asleep, we get this idea that we are at rest, right? I know we don't always have a very restful sleep, but the idea is when you're asleep, you're at rest. And Jesus needed his sleep because he wore himself out during his ministry. And there he was at rest during the storm. And of course, the image here is that even when we are surrounded by storms in life, we need to rest. And how can we possibly do that without relying on the one who can command the circumstances of our lives? And so when the winds of hardship in our life blow, when the seas are up and the waves are coming in at us, threatening to drown us, the only place we can go is to the master of those winds and those seas, and that's Jesus. And so then we learn at the end of the story that Jesus is Lord. He is Lord of the winds, of the sea, and he is the Lord of peace. So holiday season can bring some winds and some high seas. It become very stressful. And right now, we're already at a higher baseline of stress living in our culture right now because of everything that's going on. We're struggling to a little bit of a higher degree, and we are feeling it in so many different ways. So I'm telling you, without knowing your particular circumstances, you need rest. You need peace, and you can only find it in Jesus Christ. I need rest. I need peace, and it's the only place that I can find it too. And so, when Jesus is able to give us these moments of peace, yes, the winds will come back, the waves will come back, but we'll know even when we're in those tumultuous times that we can stay at peace, knowing that he is our God, that he loves us, and that he never leaves us or forsakes us. So I hope you got something from that this morning. We'll see you again next time. Thanks for watching.